What's up, BVSTERs? It's your man, Will, and I want to welcome you to today's podcast. But before we get into it, I want to thank everyone. I couldn't do this without the support of everyone that listens and everyone that interview. Please do me a favor. If you can give a like and a share and a comment, especially on the iTunes, that would be great. This is Season 2, Episode 2. Today I caught up with Lindsey Greene. She's a YouTuber. Her YouTube channel is The Hunger Diaries. She was on Guy Fieri's next big project, and she actually talks about that. I caught up with her in Manhattan at Chelsea. We were at the Donut Plant, and it's a pretty cool place. I'm sorry there's a little noise. That's what happens when you do on-location guerrilla podcasting, but that's what makes it cool. I will tell you one thing. Adrian and I watched her YouTube channel the night before I went out and interviewed her. She's got a great personality. She's bubbly. She uses a style. It's called mukbang, and it was first done in Korea, South Korea. It's where the presenter or the person on the channel eats large amounts of food, and they interact with the watcher. They call that fourth wall, where they talk directly to the viewer. It's a little disturbing. It's not my thing, but hey, I'm not everyone. We'll find out more about her, but on to the podcast. All right, let's talk about food, Lindsey. Now, you were just in Boston, and you were talking the lobster roll, your video, amazing. The difference, though, between the Boston, New England, and the Connecticut. And Connecticut is the original. It actually was founded in Milford, Connecticut, in the 1920s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it has a different flavor. And give me your take. What did you like? What didn't you like about either one?
Well, lobster's funny with me. I never really used to like lobster. A lot of the times I'd order lobster, it was really overcooked because I feel like, I think I say it in the video too, you cook lobster the first time to then remove it from the shell, and then when you are using it in a hot dish, you have to reheat it.
Right, totally.
And so the chance of it getting overcooked is much higher than in a cold lobster roll. So I tried a cold lobster roll for the first time, I want to say when I was in the Hamptons, working probably 6 years ago or something like that, and I just was like, oh my goodness, this is so much better than hot lobster. And so whether or not the Connecticut style is the original, I've always gravitated more towards the cold lobster roll because it always has tasted fresher.
Okay.
The lobster always seems like it's better cooked. And I don't know, to me it's just lighter in a weird way, even though it has mayonnaise in it.
I have to agree. I think it is a little lighter, and the heated lobster does have a tendency to taste a little slightly different. But I actually enjoy both, but I'm definitely going Connecticut style.
Well, I enjoy both now after having some actually good hot lobster rolls.
Yeah.
Because I've had a couple that are not so good, and just lobster dishes in general that I haven't liked. But yeah, it definitely surprised me.
Yeah. In I think the early 1900s, they used to feed lobsters to prisoners.
Yes, it used to be not a fancy food.
No.
And now look at us.
Now
I'm overpaying for lobster all the time.
It's hype. Don't pay the hype. The other thing is, if you look at regions, we found out that we were both from Connecticut, and we both lived in the same area of Florida, West Palm. What regional dishes, now that you're now in Minneapolis, right?
I'm in Minneapolis.
Have you seen any regional dishes out there?
Oh, yeah, that's an easy one. Well, I think that there are probably some, I don't want to call it Viking foods, but there definitely are. I think lutefisk is probably one of the more traditional but unpopular things. But I think that the more well-known is the Juicy Lucy.
What's a Juicy Lucy?
So the Juicy Lucy, they say, Matt's Bar says that they originated, they invented the Juicy Lucy.
Okay.
And it's all because some guy came in and asked for his cheese to be stuffed in the middle of the burger patty. I'm pretty sure this is what happened, by the way.
Okay.
Don't quote me.
All right.
And when he bit into it and all the cheese came oozing out, he said, wow, that is one Juicy Lucy. And
So
they put it on the menu and they spelled it wrong. They spelled juicy wrong and they just kept it. So they spelled it Jucy.
Okay.
Lucy.
Okay.
Juicy Lucy. And so Matt's Bar is the only one that spells it like that. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And everyone else just spells it regular now because everyone and their mother has a Juicy Lucy on their menu.
Oh my God, that's
in
crazy.
Minneapolis. But it really is delicious. It's like cheese lava when you bite into it. So kind of dangerous, but delicious.
I have to try it. I am a burger connoisseur. I love burgers. I buy books about burgers. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
They're
I will
great.
Go to burger
I'm a huge burger fan too. Yeah. And that should have been one of my 3 favorite foods too, actually. I just have so many.
I know, it's tough. It's tough to, okay, 3, which ones? I know you said
exactly.
mac and cheese, though.
Mac and cheese is definitely my favorite. Well, really any combination of pasta and cheese. So like carbonara, I really love. Mac and cheese, I really love. But yeah, burgers, double stack, I'm very particular.
Okay.
Like double smash burgers, very plain with like American cheese and like pickles are, so I could live off of
you're
that.
You're like a minimalist topping person?
So it's funny, I know I cover what I consider crazy creations, kind of coined that term from the show that I was on. But I really love simple foods, basic foods done really, really well.
Okay.
That's what I gravitate
complex flavors, but when it comes to my burgers, sometimes I'm a traditionalist. It's got to be cheese, pickle.
I like complex flavors too. I think it just depends what I'm eating.
Right.
Like I can really appreciate when a chef has prepared something and it hits the salty note, there's a sweetness, there's an acid, there's a bitterness. Like it really, has a rounded out flavor. But again, it's not typically me eating a burger when that happens. Like I'm maybe at a nicer dinner or having something different or unique where they've put different kind of things together. But I do enjoy that. It just has a place. Oh. And it's not necessarily what I would pick first if I had to choose, Right,
I get you. So have you been to Jersey diners or anywhere in Jersey to eat at a diner?
I actually haven't. I really wanted to go to Jersey on this trip, but it's going to have to be my next trip.
Okay.
And no, I've not been to a Jersey diner, though.
So we have to plan a sociable diner tour because I love diners.
So what's the special thing about Jersey diners?
There's 3 things that diners have in common. You can get breakfast anytime. They're usually open really late hours, and they're usually family run. So that's the 3 major staples of diners anywhere. But New Jersey diners, they have this fight over it's a ham. It's a ham product. It's called Taylor ham. And
basically Canadian bacon.
It's even way different than Canadian bacon. Canadian bacon is much more smokier, where the Taylor ham is kind of like bologna, but it's like thick bologna.
Okay. I mean, does it kind of look the same? Maybe that's why I've thought. Ham is one of the foods that I actually don't like very much.
Okay.
And so I saw Taylor ham come out when I ordered it once. It was probably on like a bagel or something, and I was like, oh, it's Canadian bacon. It looks like Canadian bacon.
Maybe at first glance it could look like Canadian.
Yeah.
But the controversy is in New Jersey, there's North Jersey and South Jersey. South Jersey, they call it pork roll, same product. And then North Jersey, they call it Taylor ham.
Okay.
So that's one of the big things about Jersey diners. But we have the best diner in the country.
Best grinders?
No, the best diner.
The best diners,
right.
Sorry.
Put it on your list. It's called Tops Diner. It's in Harrison, which is just right outside of Newark.
Uh-huh.
They have a line out the door all the time.
Very interesting.
At 10 at night, 11 at night.
It's funny, I feel like there aren't too many diners that I've been to that I've been, thoroughly impressed with.
Right.
I don't want to say that every diner is like this, but I'm not like a greasy spoon establishment type person, you know? I really can't explain it. But I have been to diner-like places that have come, they're making everything from scratch, and everything just tastes homemade, and I can appreciate places like that for sure. Maybe I just haven't given too many of them an opportunity.
No, not all diners are created equal, but Tops Diner, and this is not sponsored by Tops. We're huge fans.
Yeah.
But they have a chef. They make original food, and the service there, impeccable. It really is.
I'll put it on my list.
All right. So let's talk about, we talked about your favorite food. Let's talk about what restaurants do you think are overrated?
What restaurants where?
Anywhere.
Oh, jeez.
It could be anywhere. Or ones that you've been to on this tour.
Well, I feel like, let's see. Oh gosh, that's such a loaded question. I have to think about that.
All right.
I think that a lot of restaurants, or I guess you call them like shops or food stands or food trucks, they're creating a lot of unique things that look really, really pretty to eat.
Right.
But a lot of times they don't. I hate calling one person out, but when I was on the show, I remember going to this burger place, and they had this donut burger thing that they were known for, and it was just this monstrosity with 2 glazed donuts as the buns, and I think it was like a double burger, and it had like 10 things on it.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't good. You couldn't taste any one thing on it.
Right.
It just was like a hot mess, you know? And they were trying to be like, oh, wow, it's crazy, so it must be good. And I just think foods like that in general are really overrated. You know, you can't just throw everything on a plate and say, oh, it's crazy, it's good.
Right.
You know? And even when you don't throw 10 things on a plate, like some people are just like sushi burritos. Sushi burritos I would consider overrated because sure, they look really cool.
Right.
The idea of them would be, oh, they're easier to take on the go. You can, you know, walk and eat.
Right.
What have you. But the beauty of sushi is that you get everything in one bite. And you get to, like, dip it in the soy sauce.
Yeah, it's true.
Without...
Yeah, we're in Chelsea, so we're at a donut shop. We're at the donut plant.
Yes.
So they just rolled a big bin, sorry.
Yeah, and this guy was actually on the Food Network. I know he did some sort of competition. I don't know if it was against
the guy
like
here,
Bobby Flay. Yeah. And I came here to his other location to find out if it was as good, and it really was. So I was pleasantly surprised to find out that I was staying across the street from a donut plant.
Awesome. See, good perk, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, just foods like that in general. I can't think of a restaurant that is like overrated in general right now, just because I really have to think about like what city are we talking about?
That's true.
What
That's
kind
true.
of restaurant? I think chain restaurants, if anything, are overrated.
They're horrible.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Yeah. Speaking of donuts, like I had a cinnamon roll here. It's pretty good. I have to get it. If you want the best donut on the planet, Dayton, Ohio, Bill's Donuts. My wife's from Dayton. We go there twice a year. Best donut.
What kind of donut is it?
It's they have cake. They have some cake donuts, but they also have the other kind that are
the yeast donuts.
The yeasty donuts. They have a plethora of both kinds. They do orders like crazy. Like on an average day, they just have orders coming in. People just come in, grab the order, and leave. Big boxes.
Wow.
It's like, they've been on Alton Brown?
Yeah, Alton Brown.
He was there. He just surprised, put it on his Instagram, and they're like, oh my God,
cool.
So, I mean, they have a pretty good following. So
Very cool.
So
Yeah, there's a place in Minneapolis that does really, really good donuts. Bogart's Donuts. They only make like 4 or 5 kinds of donuts.
which is smart.
Right. I appreciate that. There's so many donut shops. Like, there's a couple donut shops in Minneapolis. They make like, I don't know, 20, 25 different kinds of donuts, maybe more. They
Right.
make them crazy again. And
Yeah.
like, to me, that crazy doesn't equal delicious,
Right.
you know? At this place, it's like very simple. They do like a brown butter glazed yeast donut. They do a Nutella stuffed yeast donut. They
Sounds
do
good.
just like a chocolate cake. Cake donuts are my favorite.
Yeah, I like the cake.
But their yeast donuts are actually amazing. So, yeah.
We have to stop talking about donuts because I'm already getting.
We're in a
pounds.
donut
I know.
shop. We're going to end up with donuts in a
I know,
minute.
so true. Would you consider yourself a sweet or savory person?
Oh, both. Both. Yeah. I could eat and get completely full off of my dinner, off of salty food, and then I have a separate stomach for dessert. Like, everybody will be stuffed. I'll be stuffed.
Right.
And then they'll say, all right, who wants dessert? And I'm like, I can go for dessert.
Yeah.
I could have dessert right now. Except for yesterday, because holy crap, So I filmed a mukbang yesterday.
Okay.
And it was all about Chip NYC, which is a cookie place in Gansevoort Market, versus Leven Bakery.
Okay.
And so those cookies are like bricks, and you eat half of one and you feel like you're going to die. And it is way more difficult than I thought it was going to be, because I love Levain Bakery cookies.
Right.
But I ended up eating only about like 3 or 4 whole cookies in the period of like, I don't know, 6 hours. And I felt like my stomach was just going to explode. It was so rich. So I had 2 dinners last night, and I get to my first dinner and I was like, I could really go for some salty food right now, but I do not think, for the first time in my life, I do not want dessert after this dinner. And then in my second dinner, I didn't get dessert either. I was like, nope, I had way too much.
Oh, because you did the cookies before.
Because I did the cookies before. It just totally ruined my sweet tooth appetite for the rest of the day. Today's another day, though, because I've got several dessert places on my list.
Can you give us a little, where are you going today?
Oh, it's separated by neighborhood.
Okay.
I will tell you.
Yeah.
So I always add all of the places that I want to go into my Google Maps, and I star them so that I can see like where everything is and organize myself that way. Mm-hmm. So in the West Village, which is I think where we're probably going to go, World's Best Cookie Dough.
Okay.
Looked really good. Dominique Ansel Kitchen, they have this like watermelon. They like hollow out a slice of watermelon, and then they fill it with lime watermelons sherbet or sorbet.
Okay.
And then they add little black chocolate seeds to the outside. So it's like chocolate seeds. It looks really, really cute. Sweet Corner Bake Shop has like a Nutella stuffed cookie. Blue Ribbon Sushi I heard was really good.
Okay.
Regular Dominique Ansel Bakery's over there. Via Carota has this like cacio e pepe with really good looking homemade pasta. So that's just the West Village.
Oh my God.
And then I've got the East Village and a couple places downtown, couple places in Midtown. I'm full already.
I can imagine.
And there's a place in Brooklyn that I'm super excited to go to. They have stretchy ice cream. Have you heard of this?
No. Okay, how do they make it stretch?
I have no earthly idea. It's like some kind of weird science experiment, but it almost looks like cheese. Almost, but it's ice cream. Like when they scoop it up, it would literally stretch this far.
Okay, so it's got to be some kind of gelatinous, I wouldn't say like a seaweed base.
Maybe.
Because the only thing I can think of that would stretch. Like
I have no idea. I feel like maybe it's some molecular gastronomy project that they're adding one of those xanthan gum. I don't know.
Your mission today, and you have to accept it, is to find out what's in it. So we can all know.
Well, I think I'll go tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think we're doing Brooklyn, the Brooklyn area.
All right.
But, yeah.
You know where in Brooklyn you're going to go?
Well, I'm going to go there. Reason I'm going to Brooklyn tomorrow is so that I can leave it open in case I want some pasticcio. Okay. I don't know if you've had pasticcio before.
Nope.
It's Greek lasagna and Something Greek, a restaurant in Brooklyn, does pasticcio every Friday.
All right.
It is amazing. So it's basically, the pasticcio is named after the noodle, I believe, and it's basically just a really large bucatini. So spaghetti with a hole in it, but just enlarged. And so they take those noodles, they mix it with cheese. That's one layer.
Okay.
And then they have a bolognese layer, so a meat sauce layer. Some people add like cinnamon, like savory spices to it. And then there is a bechamel that they've added egg yolks to on top. So when they bake it, it turns into like a bechamel custard.
Okay.
And it stays put. So there's like a layer of bechamel like this high on top of each slice of lasagna. And it's just like, oh my God, it's heaven.
It sounds like decadently good.
Oh, yes.
But it also sounds like it would take me out for the day.
It might, yeah. You shouldn't make any plans after you eat it.
Oh my, a nap, maybe.
A nap, yeah.
So, do you exercise? I mean, or do you get your vegetables in? Do you do green juice?
Yes.
How do you balance?
It's funny you say about green juice. I tried to pick one up yesterday at the Gansport Market after I tried the chip cookies, and it ended up having 25 grams of sugar in it. And that just is my biggest pet peeve ever.
Oh my God.
Who
does that?
Everyone, actually. Everyone that sells green juices just puts all fruit juice in it and says that it's not all fruit juice. And then you're like, I'm drinking sugar. would rather have a cupcake. But
Exactly. And then you'd at least enjoy it.
Right, exactly. I know that, it's natural sugar. You know what?
Whatever.
I don't care. I don't need that much sugar in my body,
No.
in a juice or anything. But anyways, I CrossFit. I used to CrossFit like 5 times a week, and that's what I'm planned to go back to as soon as this trip is over.
Okay.
But when I've been home the past few months, it's been more like 3 times a week that I CrossFit.
Okay.
I do try to eat really clean at home. No carbs, like no grains whatsoever.
Wow.
So no pasta, no rice, no quinoa, even no bread.
Wow.
And I'll try to not have any like dairy products also. So I'll do like almond milk or coconut milk. I
Okay.
try not to have any cheese. I try to have organic fruits and vegetables and meats and everything, grass-fed meats, whatever. So I
Then
try
you-
to be good.
Then you torture yourself.
Sorry?
Then you're good, and all of a sudden, let's go do the McDonald's thing.
I'm a very extreme person.
Okay.
So I like to be at one end of the spectrum or the other with everything. I like really short hair or really long hair.
Okay.
A really strict diet or I don't give a shit, I'm eating everything I want diet.
Okay.
You know, when it comes to everything in my life. So, yeah, I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's why I hate the juice thing, because if I'm gonna eat healthy, I'm not gonna pretend
No.
this green juice is making me feel good about myself. I'm eating healthy. No, I'm freaking not.
You're consuming sugar.
Exactly. No. My favorite juices are the ones that just taste like a salad in a cup.
Yeah.
All vegetables. That's what I like.
We in 2013, after I graduated from photography school, I tore my Achilles tendon, really, really bad, and I ripped it right off the bone. And the doctor's like, "It's gonna take you a year to heal."
Oh.
And my wife, we watched something on Netflix about juicing and getting healthy. And she said, "We're gonna juice." So we did green juice every day, 6 months. I
That's
healed in
great.
6 months. Like I couldn't walk.
It's amazing what a good diet will do to you, and the biggest cause of problems with people is inflammation. And when
Totally.
you eat bad foods, your body is inflamed. It's just what happens. I was telling my fiance, my face has been so puffy. I get these under eye bags whenever I start eating like this, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'm just dehydrated. So I'll drink tons of water, and that does help, but it doesn't go away because I'm eating all bad food still.
Yeah.
As soon as I cut, I was on a very strict diet for a month and a half, 2 months in May and June.
Okay.
And when I maybe 3 weeks into that diet, my skin was completely different. The under eye bags were
Yep.
completely gone. I just looked 5 years younger.
Wow.
Which, I'm 31, so that's a big deal.
You're so young. You're so young.
So young.
The one thing I can say about clean eating, after I healed, we actually went away from it, and then all these, like you said, inflammation.
The problems come back.
So we've actually gone back to it.
I try to get my father's got back pain,
Yeah.
and I try telling him if it's a nerve, if you've got everything just kind of shoved up against this nerve because of inflammation, of course you're going to have back pain, and of course nothing's going to help. But I don't think that he's willing to change his diet, unfortunately. It's just too long of you take a pill, you see a result in an hour.
Yeah.
You change your diet, it might take a month before you see any
But
results.
you see it for your whole life.
If you stick to it.
Yeah, I
he
mean-
doesn't stick to anything longer than a few days. So.
I hear you. Who did you get your foodie from? Your mom or your dad?
My mom, for sure. My mom always cooked when I was younger. She's a really good cook.
Okay.
She made pasta and cheese stuff all the time, so that's probably why I have an affinity for that kind of food. But yeah, she made me want to learn how to cook. Her good food made me want more good food
Right.
when I was out. I watched the Food Network since its beginnings.
Yeah.
Since I was 7, and I learned a lot from watching, actually. So yeah.
Did you have a
Just been my whole
favorite
life.
Food Network show or chef or presenter?
As far as chefs, I think Anne Burrell is my favorite Food Network chef.
Okay.
I just think she's super quirky and really unique.
It's true. Yeah.
And I love her little tidbits of information that she gives. Like she does her show, something like Cook Like a Restaurant Chef or whatever it is. And honestly, that's how I want to learn how to cook. I mean, you can hold back on salt if you want to, but like she adds the appropriate amount of salt. She salts things over the course of cooking. Like not every chef on the Food Network does that. Ina Garten is another that I absolutely love. As far as like home cooks, she's the best. She does the best simple recipes. The roast, I said I love roast chicken because of her roast chicken. Oh my God. Like, it is amazing. So yeah, those two are my favorite. And as far as shows, like actually their shows are probably my favorite too. So they're my favorite chefs and my favorite shows, I'd say.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So a lot of our listeners, especially the foodie kind, they dream. We all, like you said, watch the Food Network. One day I could be there. So tell me about your journey on Guy's show and how did you get involved and at what? Because honestly, I don't watch TV, but until it goes to Netflix or YouTube. But tell me what happened and along the way, if you can.
Yeah. So I started my blog in South Florida. Okay. We moved to Atlanta probably a year and a half or so into me starting. And up until that point, it was just sort of like, it wasn't that serious for me. When I got to Atlanta, I started doing it more seriously, really trying to work on my photography and all this other stuff. And so many more people knew about what I was trying to do. Right. And I'm really thankful for that because a friend of mine, Bridget, thanks Bridget, she went to my gym in Atlanta. Okay. She sent me the casting call for Guy's Big Project. And it said specifically on the casting call, calling all home cooks, food bloggers, like amateur chefs, whatever, you know. I was like, I am all of those things. So I'm like, okay, well, I feel like I have to. Like, I had always wanted to be on the Food Network. Okay, one of those people. And also, I just kind of always wanted to be like, I love attention. And so I always wanted to have the attention on me and be like in front of the spotlight and everything. Okay. So I'm like, all right, this is my chance. I have to do it. Okay. And I waited until the last minute, of course, because I am like the queen of procrastination. But I remember like 2 days before it was due, I got a little drunk at home. I set up a camera. This is the first time I'd ever been in front of the camera. Right. So it took me a few hours, but I put something together and I edited it, sent it in, and within a few hours, they called me. And I remember just putting them on mute and running around my apartment and texting my mother at the same time. Oh my God! Just like, I can't believe they're on the phone with me right now. They're asking me questions. I'm like, yeah, I love food. Back to my shouting, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I had a series of interviews when I was in New Orleans, which was probably like a week and a half or 2 weeks later for my best friend's wedding. Okay. I got the call. Okay. And they said I was on the show, and I cried. Oh my God. I was so happy. I like jumped on my fiance. I was like, oh my God, it's finally happening for me. Oh. And so it was a really, really emotional but awesome experience. And then I left for the show like a couple weeks later. It was very, very quick. Okay. And it was just not nearly enough time for me to even think about what I was doing. Right. You know, I was being thrown into some really obscure situation, high pressure. You've got to perform. I've never been very good in those types of situations. Okay. But again, I was not even thinking about it. I was like, I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be here. If I don't win, which I honestly didn't expect to win. Okay. Which is probably why I didn't win. Okay. Honestly. But yeah, I got there and it was just a whirlwind. Okay. I was like, I think I blacked out. What happened? Wow. First episode went really, really, really well for me. I was on top. Okay. I was their favorite. It was mine to lose. And I think that kind of pressure that I was the best. Oh, I have to keep being the best. What do they want from me? Right. It just, yeah, I crumbled under it. I started doing a lot of things that I didn't feel were me.
Okay.
Too. And I was put in situations that, I don't know how much about the show you know, but my show concept was crazy creations.
Ah.
And when you're filming with a network, you can't just go to a restaurant and film. Like, they have to give you permission to be there.
Yeah.
Like, you have to get like forms signed. People like
Talent
can't be on
release.
camera unless they give you permission.
Right.
And so the second challenge was in a market. And actually, to go back, the first challenge, the restaurant that I had to use, basically, I got 2 to choose from. I had to pick one. Neither of them had crazy creations. I had to create this ridiculous burger.
Okay.
So I took their burger, made it a double burger, then took their ham and cheese sandwich and put 2 of them as the buns.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, this is a crazy creation. We're going to use this. But I'm like, you know, I feel like I shouldn't have to create something every time I go into a restaurant. So we, the next challenge, we were in a market. We were in is it Grand Central Market? I'm sorry if that's wrong, but it was in LA.
Okay.
And of the places that I could choose from, the craziest thing that I found was this cake. And it had homemade coffee honeycomb. Like, I didn't even know at the time that you could make honeycomb yourself. Like, with, you know, I was like, don't the bees do that or whatever? I don't know. And so,
how do you make honeycomb? Like,
so apparently you make like almost a caramel.
Okay.
And you pour it onto a sheet pan, and then you add, I want to say it's like baking soda, and it just bubbles everywhere.
All right.
So it
that'd be
aerates.
baking soda. It's a reaction, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it aerates the whole mixture, and then you just let it cool, and then you crack it. And so all of these like jagged pieces, I called it the aggro crag.
Okay.
The aggro crag cake. And they're like, you can't say that on TV because it's like promoting. So they're very careful.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
when you have agreements with different brands, like you can't just like throw names around. So to me, that was a crazy creation.
Right.
All of these jagged things that I didn't even know you could make at home all over top of the cake.
Right.
And so what ended up happening was everyone picked an item.
Okay.
And we all followed each other around basically in the market. Like, we had like our little video village, they called it.
I know Video Village. Yeah.
And so Video Village moved around the market.
Mm-hmm.
However, like most of the time, Video Village would be here, and the person doing their challenge, basically it was about, that one was about the payoff. So it was about the bite and describing the bite to the audience to sell that item.
Okay.
And everyone else, when they did their challenge, was like over on that side of the market, and here's Video Village on the other side of the market.
Okay.
Or somebody's outside and we're Video Village inside. Like, so we didn't physically see them. We just saw the camera.
Right.
And mine was the only one that was literally right in front of Video Village and right next to like Alex Guarnaschelli.
Oh, God.
And Guy obviously was like standing there with me. And also, everyone else got the opportunity to do one small piece of their segment, stop, be like, okay, you got that piece done. Now you can do the second piece of your segment.
Right.
Okay, now you got that piece done.
Okay.
I had to start from the beginning every single time, get every piece right. And I don't know if they did that because they had higher expectations for me, but those two things combined just completely threw me off. And I didn't do as well. And it sort of, you know, took the wind out of my sails.
Okay.
And it started going downhill from there for me. All in all, though, really, really awesome experience.
Okay.
I'm really happy I did it. I'm grateful for those times that I felt super uncomfortable and got some pretty harsh criticism. Like, I feel like I really needed that in order to get better.
Okay.
And without the show, I would have never started doing these YouTube videos.
I was going to say that because transition, like you're in a structure of television, and as you just described, and I'm well aware of, that television has real structure, real restriction. But going to YouTube, you're it. You can do anything.
I love that I am like the full creator of my YouTube channel. It is my whole baby, you know. I film it, I decide what I'm gonna do, I do it, I edit it the way that I want to edit it, everything is mine, And that's what I love so much about it. I'm hoping that my channel ends up really taking off, and that can be my sort of job, you know, to have just internet shows, which I think most people are going towards anyways, you know.
I have a friend who is on the cooking channel. I won't mention because his show is about barbecue, but he's really was upset the fact that they didn't put stock into his personal social media. They didn't help him try to develop it. But then all of a sudden, when they changed producers, they're like, "Why didn't you work on this? Why didn't you do it?" And he's been like 4 years now. So his show only gets showed on Tuesdays, and that's it. Not on YouTube. So he's, you know, but I think going back to what you said is you have full control, and shows are going to transition to mostly web.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be web or these these streaming, like Netflix type platforms, and it's great to have those platforms because with cable you're restricted to how many time slots they have in a day.
True.
You know, and with Netflix you can have just unlimited options. You can have your videos be any length of time, really. Yeah. And people have the opportunity to watch them whenever they want.
Almost no restrictions to them. You can curse. There's certain things that you can't do on net television that you can do on
and I think people are way more open to different, more unique concepts, different styles of production. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of different people there. And then obviously on the web too, on YouTube or other platforms. IGTV just started.
Oh, the Instagram?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if I like that.
Yeah, neither am I. It's just, I feel like I'm just kind of posting things there because it's there. I don't really see any benefit of it yet, but it's probably one of those things that will grow over time, and better to be one of the first people using it.
The question is, are you really, social media is like the carrot. Before, or even you could get this carrot anywhere. You could get your carrot shown. And all of a sudden now they restrict all the views. Your carrot can only get so many views. And they're like the horse, and they're dragging the carrot. And they're like, you can do it, you can do it. And you try so hard. I hate the word algorithm, but the algorithm sucks.
It changes all the time, and it just makes it more and more difficult. I mean, it's understandable because so many more people are joining these platforms every day.
Right.
And so they have to figure out, why are these people on the platform? It's so that they can see things that they love from the people that they care about, or that they know, or that they like. And the algorithm has to make that decision. It's a very impersonal, I mean, it's an algorithm. It's not an actual person deciding what you want. Right. Yeah. And so because there's so many people, the competition is just much higher, and you're competing not just with other bloggers, you're competing with sisters and brothers and friends who have no followings, they're not photographers.
Right.
And so that's what's so difficult about it.
Yeah. That's one of my I tell my wife this all the time, when I sell my Netflix show, then we'll move to a really huge house. Our apartment in Jersey City is as big as where we're sitting here, which is a couple hundred feet, really.
Yeah.
But I'm I'm going to sell my Netflix show. She's like, you go ahead and do that now.
Yeah.
So that's
She's I'm ready.
Yeah, totally. But that's where I think a lot of people want to get into that Netflix type scenario, or if it's Amazon. Do you think in the next 2 years that there will be true competition for YouTube?
I don't think anyone's really safe. Within the next few years, I think Netflix will have a lot of competition.
Yeah.
I think YouTube will definitely have some competition. How fast that grows, I don't know. But I mean, Instagram only started how many years ago? Was it 8 years ago?
The first time I did it was 2013.
2013, so
yeah.
Less.
Yeah.
That's not a whole lot of time.
Yeah.
So in a few years, who the hell knows? These things grow so fast.
True.
Facebook is now, I don't want to say obsolete, but I never used Facebook.
No.
It's the old people platform now, according to the younger generation. They're like, I don't use Facebook. That's my mom uses Facebook.
It's funny. My mom, my sister, if I put something on Facebook, my mom will comment on it.
When was it? 10 years ago, Facebook was the thing.
It was the only thing, really.
It was the only thing. Yeah.
Well, MySpace, the truth is, I have a funny theory about MySpace. It still lives. And if you really want to drive your brand image, you should occupy MySpace. So you're the only one.
I didn't even know that MySpace still existed.
I swear, I just went there the other day, just as a
man.
goof. You could occupy that space because no one else is really occupying it. So you could totally rock that, like anyone, any creator out there. But I'm saying, like,
Who's on MySpace now?
mostly musicians.
Really?
Yeah, it's Justin Timberlake owns it.
Really?
Yeah, he made it an ecosystem for musicians.
Okay.
But it's like so I was like, if there's no one, like if everyone's over here zigging, you gotta go zag. Hello MySpace.
Oh, for sure. And
Yeah.
that's sort of, not that everyone and their mother isn't trying to become a YouTube creator,
Yeah.
but I think that once you've reached the threshold,
Yeah.
like I just got approved, my channel just got approved by YouTube.
Okay.
And so now that I've been approved, I feel like, okay, I've crossed that threshold. I can really just work on growing that. I
Right.
think that is probably a much better use of my time than worrying about Instagram. I mean, you worry, how many likes am I going to get
I
for this
know.
picture?
Wish I had $1 for every
It's
like.
just the stupidest thing.
Yeah.
It's not stupid because you make money off of it.
Right.
But it's so stupid. Like, why do I care? I know this is a great picture. I know I make great content. I'm providing value.
All the words I can't stand.
Value, content.
Value, brand. I'm a
algorithm.
content creator.
I know.
I'm gonna throw all these words out. Maybe that should be my Netflix show. Throw them all out and stomp on them.
What do you
Create new
even
ones.
replace them with? That's the only reason
don't
I
know.
use them.
I know, but the thing is, it's kind of like the only way you get taken seriously is you throw these words out. I'm a creator, and I do this, and I do that, and I'm a
Yeah.
vlogger. It's just, I think that you should, if you just do, then that's the best thing. Just do. So.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's next for you today? Where are you going right after this?
We are doing the West Village today.
Okay.
I'm hoping that we'll be able to stop at an East Village spot, but my whole trip is all about getting as much content as humanly possible.
Yeah, I feel you.
And so I've got to get several pieces of content today, several pieces of content tomorrow. I'm going to the Timeout Burger Battle later today. It's like Long Island City.
Yeah,
So
that's a cool period.
doing that.
Yeah.
We went to Carbone for dinner last night, and oh my gosh, that meal was so expensive. And I'm like, I have to get a piece of content. We're not coming all the way here to try this freaking spicy rigatoni, and I don't get a picture of it. So I'm, of course, very embarrassing in this restaurant, holding up my light
Yeah, I love
with my
it.
camera, and because of how the camera, I'm sure you can
Yes.
relate to this. When you're in live view mode, you can't really use your focal points, and usually I manually focus, but
Yep.
since I'm holding my light with one hand and holding my camera with the other,
Yeah,
I wasn't
man.
able to manually focus, so I had to use autofocus.
Oh my God.
And I was like holding the camera up here
Oh my
in
God.
live view to get it to the right spot.
Yeah.
Once I found it in the right spot, I switch out of live view. Hopefully my light is in the right place still. Take the picture.
Yeah.
That happened like 20 times because I'm like, I moved to the left
Yeah.
a little bit. I moved to the right a little bit. The light moved. Oh my God, it was embarrassing.
Oh my God.
Everyone around me was like, so what are you doing? What are you doing? Why
I
are you
know.
taking pictures? The
know.
servers, who are great over there, by the way,
Yeah.
come over. They're sitting down next to me. It's like, let me see what you got. What'd you get? I'm like, this is embarrassing. This is not my best work. Can y'all give me a break right now? I'm just trying to have a dining experience. I would really just like to eat the spicy rigatoni. The faster I get this done, the
God.
faster I could do that. And it was delicious, by the way. I'd heard
Yeah.
mixed reviews, but holy shit, that was so good.
Oh my
I
God.
almost want to go back again today.
I want to take my wife now. So.
Oh, it's amazing. I highly recommend the spicy rigatoni. It was amazing.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Thank you for that recommendation.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for joining the BVSTER podcast family.
Thank you very much for having me.
And next year, or whenever you come back, we got to do it again, but let's do a food tour. I want to
Absolutely.
party with you food-wise.
Oh, geez. Yeah, you just got to prepare your stomach.
I am so prepared now.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
All right.